Hi folks, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the T-26G FT. Yes, Chinese TDs have finally made it into the game, and this is the first of them at Tier 2. So it's time to dip back down into the world of low tiers and, mess around with M2 light puppy kickers and mess around on maps like Mittengard that do absolutely nothing for the game. But thankfully, this tank only took about 3 or 4 games to ace, to grind through and to ace, because I'm grinding through tanks from now on. I'm actually playing tank stock. But yeah, thankfully it only took about 3 or 4 games to ace, and we managed to get on mines, which means it's a map that people might actually learn something on. Anyhow, the T-26 FT is a unknown quantity. This is kind of an unknown tank, like a lot of the Chinese tanks that have appeared from the Chinese server. I'm thinking of maybe tanks like the Type 59 Patton. These are tanks that never existed. There are question marks over a lot of Chinese tanks and Chinese TDs that have just been added because, well, China really didn't do TDs. I mean, most Chinese armed or tracked vehicles happen to be tanks. They didn't really do TDs at all. Now, while there are a couple of examples of Chinese TDs that actually exist out there, they mainly exist as prototypes or designs. And most of the TDs in the new Chinese TD line that have been added, well, I don't really want to say they're fake, but let's just say they're creative interpretations. Maybe that's the best and most politically correct way to say it. They're creative interpretations by the not the developers, but the people who run the Chinese server. Anyway, this is the T-26 FT. This is a TD that is supposedly based on the T-26 Russian medium tank that China purchased in the 1930s. And in the late 1940s, some of the T-26s were captured by the People's Liberation Army from the National Revolutionary Army. And we're basically quoting wargaming here, but they were used as the basis for the creation of at least 2 modifications of tank destroyers. Okay then, so which of the 2 creations was this? So the T-26 was used as a basis for 2 TDs, supposedly, but I don't know which of the TDs this is, and I don't know anything about the other TD because there's no information out there. I can't find any information whatsoever beyond what Wargaming have provided, and what Wargaming have provided is the information they were given or provided by the people who are running the Chinese server. So, it's ridiculous. I can't find out any information whatsoever. So I'm guessing that maybe a lot of the Chinese TDs maybe didn't exist, or maybe were concepts or dreamed up by someone sitting, I don't know where. But, it's so bad I can't even find out what the FT stands for. Most of the Chinese TDs have FT after them, and I can't even find out what the FT stands for. I mean, I did my research. I did find out that FT in the Chinese military is a designation given to a series of Chinese interballistic missiles. So, FT was used by the Chinese for military vehicles, but they were used for ballistic missiles. And, the FT that if were used for the ballistic missiles is Chinese for Fei Teng. And Fei Teng means to fly in English. So, if FT means to fly or Fei Teng, that makes perfect sense for a missile. So, I doubt that the FT in the Chinese TD series is to fly, or, I don't know. It's probably not the same FT, but if anyone out there knows the answer to this FT question, what does FT stand for, let me know in the comments, because it obviously means something. Anyway, in-game, this is a TD with absolutely no armor. It's got 18mm on front, 15 on the sides, 15 on the rear. So, it does have a decent top speed of 36, is it? 36 kilometers an hour. It is 36 kilometers an hour, but it's got a power-to-weight ratio of 10. So, it's slow, it's sluggish, it has no armor, it only has 6 degrees of gun depression, and the camo rating is absolutely nothing special. It doesn't seem to have a very good camo rating either, at least in the games I played. Of course, 2 of those games were on Mittengard, so camo rating counts for absolutely nothing on that map anyway. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything special about this tank. You know, a lot of negatives. But what is good, however, is the flavor of the Chinese TD so far. I've only gotten to tier 3, but I've read about some of the higher tier ones and watched a couple of videos, and this seems to be the flavor of Chinese TDs is that they have decent view range. So this thing has quite an impressive 270 meters of view range at tier 2, which is pretty good for a TD at tier 2. But the other flavor of Chinese TDs is that it seems to have a decent choice of guns. A lot of the Chinese TDs seem to have very, very playable stock guns. Now, the stock gun on this particular tank is 37mm that has decent pen, it has decent damage, and it has decent alpha. Or decent DPM. So the stock gun on this is, I think it's about 42mm of penetration. It's got about 40, maybe 30, 38, 36 alpha damage, and its DPM is around 1500. So that's pretty good for the stock gun, or maybe it's lower. Maybe the DPM is slightly lower, but stock gun was actually okay on this tank. I got a couple of first classes in this tank using the stock gun before I had enough XP to upgrade the gun. So the stock gun seems to be very good, but this gun is the final gun. Now this gun is a bit of a monster. I mean, if lower tiers were more fun and had more map choices, and maybe people weren't allowed to puppy kick in M2 lights, this would be a lot more fun with this gun at tier 2, because this is a tier 2 that has 81mm of penetration. Now 81mm that's monstrous. That is monstrous at tier 2. So this thing, even though it doesn't, you know, it would need half that pen, it would pen most of the tanks it can face. This thing will pen absolutely everything it can face, and it's got 70 alpha damage, which again is very, very good for a tier 2. It means you can pretty much 2-hit kill most of the tanks you're facing. The premium ammo gets you up to an absolutely unbelievable 130mm of penetration. I mean, you could take on most tier 5s with that, but this tank will only ever see tier 3s, so it's just the penetration of the alpha are very, very good. Now, I didn't bother with the penetration on the standard AP is so good I didn't bother putting any premium on the tank, and even the HE is pretty good as well. 25mm of penetration is going to go through most tier 2s with 90 damage, so worth carrying some HE in this tank as well. So the second gun is very, very good, and it's not just the penetration and alpha, it's also got it's got about 1600 DPM. That's crazy at tier 2. So you've got a rapid firing gun with 81mm of penetration, 70 alpha damage, and DPM of around 1600 at tier 2. It's got decent accuracy of 0.36. The aim time is actually okay at 2.1, and it fires, as I say, 20 rounds a minute. So, you know, that's one maybe minor negative in that you might be reloaded before you're fully aimed. So the gun might just about fire before you can get fully aimed. But I, to be honest, didn't spend that many games in the tank, so I really can't tell you more. But as good as the gun is, playing a tank with bad mobility and no armor and no turret on maps like Mittengard isn't fun. So to be honest, even though it's got decent view range and it's got a decent gun or selection of guns, I'm just glad to have gotten through it very, very quickly, aced it and moved on. So anyway, here we go. We are on Mines. It's an all tier 2 game. So not worrying about top tier, bottom tier here. So all tier 2 game, once again, no XVM, and we're just moving forward, and you can see we're getting up to 23 kilometers an hour now. 36 kilometers an hour top speed, absolute joke, because you're ever going to reach that speed. Power to weight ratio, poor acceleration, and we're just moving up now. As I say, the accuracy and the aim time are okay. You can see the aim time does take a while to get down. Boom! Lovely shot on the move, and look at that, 78 damage. 67 damage, so low roll. Can we get him? Yeah, we get another one in, and okay, Cruiser 2. So, oh, because I wasn't fully aimed, you can see how wide that shot went. So we just lost a tank to the FTBS. So there's RT in this particular game, but we're aiming, and yep, 66 damage. So a couple of low rolls in there, but we're up to 300 damage already, and I mean the game is only a few seconds old. So yeah, if this tank had the opportunity to sit back and do damage and use its DPM and use this penetration, I think it could be a very, very good tank at tier 2. and its poor mobility and poor armor just average it out. I mean, it can easily be taken out by most of the tanks that it faces, but you really don't want to be sitting in front of it. So M2 Light goes down, which is a big relief. We haven't sent anyone down the AB line, so I'm advancing, and I probably should be looking towards the AB lines, because now I've just spotted an FV or PV LVV Swedish TD. Anyway, we're swinging around, and yeah, I probably should have stayed in position where the bush is. So look how bad that shot was, how wide that shot went, because we weren't fully aimed. So I shoot the wall, misjudge that shot, trying to judge it, and there we go. We can shoot him through the wall, through cover, another kill taken. So M2 Light, now look how quickly we can take this guy down. So 62, and yep, that's another 66 there. I'm actually getting a lot of low rolls here, so we're on 2 kills, but we're up to 400 damage. Tanks in front. Now there is RT in play, and I do know he was shooting towards this direction, so want to maybe move up to these rocks. And as I say, if you make a mistake in this tank, it is completely unforgiving, because you don't have the maneuverability to get out of position, you don't have the mobility to get into position, you've got no armor. Enemy tanks can flank you so easily, they can pen you so easily, and that was a bad shot by me. That was just a really bad shot by me. So I know I've been spotted. Once again, I've got a terrible crew because there aren't any Chinese crews in the game, and he gets taken out because the aim time wasn't there. Look at that, shot before being fully aimed, but 0 damage, but we do get him when we fully aim. So this is a TD that you have to fully aim, absolutely have to fully aim. So we get kill number 3, and we're advancing because I know RT is focused on me. I just heard an RT shell land behind me. So stop. Advance, move forward, try and put RT off. Yeah, there we go. RT's just missed again. So just trying to be unpredictable. Try to avoid RT once again. Move up. Gonna try and maybe side scrape. The gun is slightly to the left of the tank. Wondering if the enemy are going to poke. But no, this RT seems absolutely determined to kill me. His mission in life is to kill this tier 2 TD. So we're reversing to get into RT cover. Our RT is trying to kill their tanks. Our RT's trying to kill... Their RT's trying to kill me. Our RT's trying to kill them. Okay, so he's advanced. Do I flank? H-35 has moved up. There are 4 tanks on the enemy team now. 2 of them are camping at the back, including an M2 Light, but RT misses me again. Our H-35 goes down. I decide to move up, try and use this wreck for cover. Swing around, and the gun depression is poor, but we do have enough to get a shot in. So, very good shot there. Lucky shot. He's trying to use the wreck, but we take him out. So, RT, T-45, and M2 Light left on the enemy team. 2 of them have gotten kills, so we're just advancing. RT seems to have left me alone. Maybe he's run out of ammunition. But, okay, T-45, M2 Light are on the other line, so I'm basically going to see if I can find RT, or see if maybe I can swing around and maybe from this height get a shot onto the tanks down on the one line. So T-45 is hidden, and the M2 Light is hidden. Okay, no shots. So, okay, do we go down? Do we stay up? No sign of RT yet, so just going to try and adjust, maybe shoot to where the M2 Light was last spotted, which I think was about here. He's around here somewhere, so we'll go for some blind shots. Let my binocs kick in, see if we can spot RT at the same time. So, no M2 Light down here. But you can see the rate of fire. And T-45, no shots on the T-45. Okay, come on, M2 Light, you still here? Nope, nothing. And we haven't spotted RT yet. So we've got another... Oh, there we go. I knew this happened. So we did spot RT. We swing around and look at the aim time. And yeah, shooting before being fully aimed is about... Yeah, it's a major negative on this tank. Okay, M2 Light's there. And we do have a shot. And we nick it! We nick it! That shot went nowhere near where I aimed. Shot before being fully aimed, but we do nick kill number 5. So looking for a kill number 6. Of course, you don't really get top guns. I don't think you get top guns at tier 2. I can't remember. But anyway, moving up, looking for kill number 6. And okay, that tank goes down. Let's swing around, see if we can get RT. He was trying to hit me the entire game. Now the scary thing is, he would have killed me. Had he hit me, he would have killed me, because this tank has absolutely no armor. But nope, don't get around in time, so just the 5 kills. And tier 2 is done and dusted. So, just the ace, no other medals, but yeah, Chinese TD, 697 XP was enough to ace the tank, I guess because a lot of people are playing it. Did 547 damage, most of that was done in the first couple of minutes, and then it just sort of damage dried up as targets dried up, but 5 kills, can't complain. It is a good gun as long as it's fully aimed. Snap shooting with it, not recommended however. 20 shots fired, we only managed to hit 12 and pen 11, so somehow, oh, I hit someone's tracks and failed to do any damage. Yeah, so somehow my amazing penetration failed to pen one tank, but tracks absorbed it, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's got good view range. We spotted 3. We damaged 8, destroyed 5, 118 assistance damage, and pretty much a standard tier 2 game in that 13,000 credits with a premium account. First game of the day, as I say, about my second or third game overall in the tank, but yeah, decent XP and enough XP to unlock tier 2 or tier 3, move on to tier 3, and now I'm playing tier 3 with this crew, so it's a terrible crew. So I sold this tank, no point in keeping it. I try to avoid low tiers if I can these days because it's just not a lot of fun. Wargaming need to do a lot to fix low tiers as is at the moment, but anyhow, Chinese TDs are here, and I've started up the Chinese TD line, so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.